And just like that, I was in Marykay. For the following 5 years, I did almost nothing. I'm not so proud of that. But I stayed active every now and then because I like the products. But I had never worked the business. I hope none of you are like that here. I never booked a party. I never made an intentional effort to build something. And every time I thought, okay, this is it, I'm gonna quit Marykay. It's an expensive hobby. Someone would call and say, hey, do you have a basic skincare set? I'd love to try it. And suddenly I would think, well, I could stay a little longer. Now, has anyone ever almost quit and then somebody called to purchase a product? I'm sure there's many of you here. I think Marykay had a way of whispering into my inventory and saying, not yet. Okay? But luckily, I kept ordering just enough to hang on. Kind of like a gym membership. You don't go, but then you don't want to stop paying because you feel guilty because you really have good intentions. But you know what kept me from ever fully walking away? Do you want to know?
Yes.
The stories. Every month, I would get that Applause magazine and read about women just like me, who had faced obstacles, setbacks, personal struggles, and yet somehow found a way to create success with Marykay. I was inspired by them. I was drawn to them, and I dreamed about what it might feel like to be one of them. And I'll be honest, I also loved looking at those commission checks they printed in that magazine. Something about seeing those numbers made me think, what if that could be me? But for years, I was just a spectator. I wasn't ready yet. The truth is, I wasn't just busy, I was stuck. I was in a difficult situation, trapped in a really terrible situation, and I desperately wanted to escape. I was in a domestic violence situation, and I didn't see a clear way out. Until one day, everything changed. I realized that the only way that I could break free and build a new life for myself and my children was to become a Marykay sales director. That was my roadmap. That was my escape. So I flat out resigned from my accounting job, and I went all in. I stopped surrounding myself with negativity. I stopped listening to people who weren't where I wanted to be. Instead, I started following the women that I admired. I started taking action. I started booking skincare parties. Every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday were my days to hold skincare parties. And I never looked back. Marykay Ash always said, a good goal is like a strenuous exercise. It makes you stretch. I stretched myself further than I ever had before. I wrote down my goals. I put them on a dream board. I followed the system that had already worked for 61 years. But most, of course, then, it wasn't 61, right? But most importantly, I stopped giving myself a plan B. There was only a plan A. There was only one option: move forward. I started working strategically, not just hoping for success, planning for it and working it. I use Marykay's 6 most important things list every single day. I set quarterly and monthly goals to reach each milestone, and I structured my week in this manner. Monday, bookings and unit meeting. Tuesdays, coaching and customer service. Wednesdays, follow-up and preparing for all my weekend parties. Thursday through Saturday was my days to do my skincare parties and career chats. And Sunday, of course, God and family. And you know what happened? It worked. When I started truly working my Marykay business, I don't know if my kids necessarily noticed the change in me, because to them, this was the way of thinking. It was just normal to them. You see, I had always taught them to dream big. I didn't just tell them to have goals. I made sure they had their vision boards, affirmations, and the belief that anything was possible. I believe that probably at like 10 or 13, they were breaking boards at Tony Robbins' events. They didn't really like it, but hey, they had to do it. They never put a limit on what they believed that they could do, and that's the power of vision. If we raise the next generation to see possibility instead of limitation, they won't just follow a roadmap, they will create their own. One of the biggest lessons I learned in leadership is that people don't stay for the business, they stay for the vision. What is your vision? It's about reminding people what they started. It's about keeping their goals in front of them, holding up the light and letting them know that this is possible for them too. That's exactly what the applause did for me during those early years. It gave me hope. That's what we have to do for others. Maybe some of you are here today and you are here like I was those first 5 years. Maybe you feel like you're in a waiting phase, like you're watching from the sidelines, unsure if you can really do this. And let me tell you something, you absolutely can. Every national, every director you see on the stage has faced those doubts, setbacks, and personal struggles. You are not alone. But the difference between those who succeed and those who stay stuck is simple. Those who succeed made a decision, and they took imperfect action. Not perfect action, imperfect action. They didn't wait until they had all the answers, they just started moving. Raise your hand if you have ever set a goal, but then got stuck in overthinking. I was not alone. And if you're feeling stuck today, I want to challenge you. I want to challenge you, number one, to set an audacious goal. Something that stretches you, something that excites you, and something that scares you at the same time. And number two, commit to daily action. Even if it's small, even if it feels insignificant, success isn't built overnight. It's built in the daily, consistent steps that you take. If I could go back to that moment when my hand was raised for me at that opportunity event, I would tell myself this: follow the system that has already worked for thousands of people, if not millions. Be consistent. Stick to the full circle system. Do 5 + 5 + 5 every single week. And trust that if you stay the course, your life will change in ways that you can't even imagine for yourself. Marykay built this company at her kitchen table. She didn't have a roadmap, she created one. And now we have the privilege of following that roadmap. But today, this moment is especially meaningful for me because this is my final career conference. For 46 years, I have walked this journey, learning, growing, learning from many of you here, stretching, and seeing countless women transform their lives through this business. When I became the first Latina national sales director in the Chicago area, I knew that I was paving the way. So you are too. And just for myself, not just for myself, but for those women who needed to see what was possible. And what a journey it has been. Not only did I achieve my dream of becoming a national sales director, but I have had the privilege of mentoring and raising offspring national sales directors, Lupita Diaz, Bertilia Corral, and Oralia, who are continuing this legacy. Seeing these incredible women step into their own success has been one of my greatest joys, one of the greatest joys of my career. Knowing that the impact of this business will continue for generations to come. And now, as I step into my next chapter, my greatest joy is knowing that the company, that this opportunity, and that this sisterhood will continue to change lives, just like it changed my life. So if you're wondering if you can do this, let me tell you, yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
If you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. If you're looking for a reason to go all in, let this be your moment. Let this career conference be that moment. Because the road ahead is already mapped out for you. You just have to say yes. Say yes.
Yes.
You just have to say yes to walking it. I want to thank my daughter who's here with me and all of my area. I would like for them to stand. All of the Oralia Hill, Lupita Diaz, Bertilia Corral area that are here today. Thank you so much for all those years. So whether you've been in Marykay for 5 minutes or 46 years like me, your next chapter starts today. Are you ready to say yes to your own roadmap? Are you ready to say yes to your own roadmap?
Yes!
Thank you very much.
Woo! Woo! Thank you, Maggie!
Well, I just want to say, Maggie, aren't we all so glad that you decided to stay a little longer and stay all in, yes? I also love Maggie's theme of selling, goals, selling and having a goal and setting a vision, always following the system. And just again, thank you so much, Maggie, for 46 years of service. We're so proud of you and we love you.
It's time for our next